A warm and cherished good morning to everyone. I, Hitaya, Senior Executive Academics in DCM Group of Schools, welcome you to the virtual program Day 2 of OEP, that is Overseas Education Program. This program is a unique initiative taken by the DCM Group of Schools to provide opportunities to the students for higher education in various countries. I would like to welcome Dr. Gopan Gopalakrishnan, the Deputy CEO of DCM Group of Schools, Ms. Kiran Sharma, Assistant CEO, Primary Education, DCM Group of Schools, and our esteemed guest, Ms. Raquel Shroff, CEO, Global Education Solution, Australia, Mr. Manu Singhal, International Recruitment Officer at UNISA, and Ms. Praneet Kaur, Alumni DCMC and Uni Mentor at UNISA, connected here with us in this program. DCM Group of School has tied up with many international education organizations. Today, we have members of management of University of Australia with us. The DCM Group of School has a glorious legacy of 75 years of quality education, well blended with all the technical advancements and a strong moral upliftment. Before getting started, I would like to tell you about the program through which students will be benefited. Through this program, DCM students will be provided study tours and professional development programs, including professional workshop for the teachers, educational leadership program, etc. Now, I invite Ms. Kiran Sharma to welcome our esteemed guests and to give introduction about UNISA at DCM. Over to you, Ms. Kiran.
Hello, very good morning and greetings to everyone. I hope I'm audible. It's a pleasure meeting everyone. Thank you so much. It's a pleasure meeting everyone over here. Here at DCM, we try and strive to excel and be progressive. And in the same step, this is one of the few steps that we have taken. This is the second day of the OEP, and it's my privilege to welcome Raquel Shroff, the CEO of the Global Education Solutions Australia, who's a recognized expert in the international education industry. She's also the chairperson of the Indian Career Education and Development Council, an organization set up with support from the Australian Indian Council to serve as a professional body for teachers, counselors, trainers, human resource developments, and all the professionals engaged in career transition. It's a privilege meeting you, ma'am, and it's an honor meeting you here. I would like to welcome Ms. Praneet, who's an alumni, and she was the pass out from DCMC in 2018. She's currently working as a uni mentor at UNISA. I would like to welcome Mr. Manu Singhal, who's an international recruitment officer for South Asia, Africa, and Middle East at the University of South Australia since August 2018. His experience at the Australian government's Endeavour Scholarship and Fellowship Program, internship and scholarship management in the higher education sector, and partnership relationship management is an added bonus. Welcome, Mr. Manu. I would really like to welcome Dr. Gopan Gopalakrishnan, a wonderful mentor, the Deputy CEO at the DCM Group of Schools. He's an eminent educationist, a neuroscientist by profession, but his desire to inculcate the clarity of concepts in the student is what motivates him to be the catalyst of change over here. Welcome, sir. It's a pleasure to invite all the panelists, all the principals of the DCM group, all the vice principals, academics, and the senior secondary, and the career counselors to this wonderful session of learning from everyone. Thank you so much. And I would like to invite our Deputy CEO, Dr. Gopan, to the front now. Sir, if you could just take the charge now, please.
Right.
Thank you.
Right. Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Kiran, for this wonderful welcome note that you welcomed everybody from sitting in Australia till in Punjab sitting here. So thank you everyone to join this program. So as I mentioned yesterday to you, 2 days ago to Raquel, that this what we are conducting today is part of our career fest that is going on through during for a week long career fest. We started last Saturday. That will be going on till end of the month. So here what we are planning to do is to, when the students come for class 11 admission, so we are having certain set of parameters laid out so that the students get a little bit more clarity in choosing which stream they want to actually opt for when they come for when they choose their class 11 admission. Earlier it used to be the parents or someone with some mixed information, sometimes even wrong information, would choose the stream depending on what the neighbor has done, what the cousin has done, and everything. So that we wanted to have a change. So that is why that was the motivation behind this entire week dedicated for this career fest. So yesterday it was day one, where we had actually partners from the United States of America and Europe. They were on board, and they discussed about different programs they in association with DCM, what we are offering to our children. Now today we have University of South Australia here, and the main catalyst of this association is Miss Raquel Schroff. That you got that wonderful introduction about her. She's going to share with us what actually comes under this University of South Australia DCM agreement. So just to start with, why we are doing this, not just about this class 11 admission drive. So DCM's vision about education is not just conducting exams and delivering the syllabus set out by the government of India. So hello, yeah. So instead, we are aiming to.
अभी भी नहीं आ रही.
We are aiming to carve out a pool of global citizens. So for that, we have laid out several initiatives. For example, public speaking skills is one of the major factors that our students sometimes lack. So in our schools, all our branches, we have TED clubs through which every month students will get opportunity. Multiple students in every month will get opportunities to come up with some novel ideas and be able to deliver this to a wider public. That wider public includes parents as well as students from grade 3 to grade 12. So sorry for this little delay here. So that is one of the aspects that we are actually offering to the students. Then our curriculum is aligned to the Sustainable Development Goals, SDG, that has been laid out by the United Nations. So we have, obviously, we are CBSE schools and we have our curriculum, NCERT curriculum and syllabus. But on top of that, every chapter that we teach, every science chapter, every social sciences, whichever topics that we are teaching, we can actually see, if you really look into the details, we can always align them to the some of these sustainable development goals laid out by the United Nations. So this is the curriculum that we are following starting from towards the end of last year. So this is another aspect that we are doing, and on top of that, several webinars are being offered to our children every week in the form of DCM talks, DCM cares, where we bring in international speakers. We also have eminent professors from Indian Institute of Technologies throughout India, and on top of that, we offer entrepreneurship skills in two different forms. One is as a skill subject. We have added that in the senior secondary wing, as well as we provide students with the opportunity to come up with their original ideas and develop them into some prototypes and eventually into startups. So we are offering them incubation centers in all of our branches, so that the students will be able to get that flavor of entrepreneurship, because the job prospects are changing in the world. I mean, it is not anymore about getting government jobs or getting into some multinational companies, but it's all about job creators. So these aspects are also look into it. And in this context, I want to add one particular note that towards the end of last year, University of Queensland in Australia conducted a program called India's Future Founders Program, in which around 86 students spanned over 18 high schools in India participated, and five students who formed a team from one of our branches, Dasan Brown World School, got one of the top positions in that competition. So our students are already into the flavor of coming up with their own ideas and entrepreneurship skills. So not to stretch it further, because everybody is waiting to hear what UNISA has to share with us. So we have a study abroad clinic that we've constituted at the DCM schools and all our branches, in which we have around 500 plus universities are aligned for our students to give our students 100% support, starting from the application process through the admission process, and even further when if in case they get admitted in any of these institutions, they will be getting 100% support until they relocate to that country. For example, Campus France is one of our strong partners, and who are actually looking into everything, including finding them suitable accommodations and scholarships and everything. So all these factors are being taken care of at the school level. And also, I don't need to stress it further, but all of you know that even today we have one of our alumni members is participating in this program. In which part of the world, wherever you go, you will find one DCM alumni. So we are actually making a strong network of this 500 plus universities, along with our alumni network, to help our students who are just young kids at the age of 18 or 19 going abroad alone, to give them complete support for their studies abroad and stay abroad. So under the University of South Australia program, we are not just unlike many career counseling programs where the universities are interested in students who are studying in grade 12 in order to translate them into their future students in their programs. Instead, what we carved out here is a long-term process in which the students studying in grade 9 to 12 will get the opportunity to interact with the University of South Australia faculty members for different grooming sessions, as well as what is on plate is that if and when the conditions would become favorable, some of the University of South Australia faculty members will be able to come to us, to our schools as guest faculty members, so that this will it will be a mutual exchange of talents and possibilities. With this, I wish everybody all the best, and we are all looking forward to hear what University of South Australia has to share with our students and parents today. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for sharing your valuable thoughts. I'm glad to welcome Ms. Praneet Kaur, alumni of DC Model Senior Secondary School in 2018, and she is also a uni mentor at UNISA. As Ms. Praneet Kaur could not join us due to clinical placements, but she has shared a special video message to the DCM students, which I would like to share.
Hello everyone, I hope you're all well. I'm Praneet, a current final year nursing student at UNISA, a UNISA Uni Mentor, and a former DCM student. Actually, I was not having able to be a part of this event because I'm on my clinical placement, but thanks to Raquel for adding this clip in so that I can share my experiences with you. I think this was a very much needed event to deliver information to our grade 11 and 12 students, because choosing a right field to study could be a little bit of confusing and challenging for them, because it makes the pioneer for higher studies and, of course, the career. But if the students have adequate knowledge regarding various career opportunities available in different countries, it would be easy for them to choose the subjects. But I would like to encourage the students to choose what they're interested in, and it should not be influenced by any parental or peer pressures. Because I have experienced these things, and I remember friends saying, "Okay, let's choose same subjects so that we could be in same classes and we would have fun together." I know this is a bit hilarious, but it happens sometimes. But we need to think beyond this. We have to focus on the careers. We have to focus on the future goals. If we talk about myself, I was always interested in healthcare and I knew it from day one that mathematics is not meant for me. So I choose pure science stream in my grade 11 and 12, and because I was really interested in it, and I think if you're interested in something, you always put in more efforts. So maybe that's the reason that I ended up in getting 93% in my board exams, and that led me to get admission into UESA, a highly reputed university, and that I could continue my higher studies in here. So I know I used to hear that, oh, you're doing biology, so you could only be a nurse or a doctor. That proves that there is a lack of knowledge. But if we broaden our search and our knowledge, so we would come across various different courses that different organizations, different institutions offer, such as you could study to be a physiotherapist, or you could get into forensic research, you could study nutrition, because healthcare setting is run by a multidisciplinary team, and each role has its own importance, and each role is valued. And healthcare, I think, is such a career that you can practice in almost any part of the world. For another instance, let's talk about commerce. So various institutions and universities, they offer degrees and diplomas in relation to accounting or financial studies or marketing, tours and travels, and these could be really interesting to study as well. And of course, humanities, that's the most underrated stream in India, I should say. Because there are lots of myths in relation to this, that people think that humanities, those students study this stream who do not like to study. That's what they think, and we need to clear these myths because there are various job opportunities where you could study to be an anthropologist or an archaeologist, or you could even get into politics or do media studies. So the need is to know what is available in the job market. So once you choose your subjects, then focus on what degrees you need to do to get into the specific career that you think is suitable for you, that you think you can succeed into. So the basis is to choose the subjects, choose your degrees, then focus on your careers. And I think you're gonna succeed if you go this way. And also UniSA and DCM, they're organizing lots of career counseling activities for students. So students don't miss to be a part of it. Put forward your queries, answer, ask lots of questions, and grab all the benefits that they're providing. At the end, I would like to thank the entire UniSA and DCM management for letting me in to share my experiences with everyone. Thank you so much. Thank you.
So thank you, Ms. Praneet. That was a wonderful video, special message shared by you for our students. University of South Australia is a public research university in the Australian state of South Australia. UNISA is among the top universities in the world. UNISA will provide DCM students grooming classes from grade 9 to 12, will provide support in admission, and will provide guest faculty for the students. Recently, MOU has been signed between the UNISA and the DCM. Today we have Ms. Raquel Schroff, the CEO of Global Education Solution, Australia. She is having a rich experience of more than 26 years in consulting career development of young people. I welcome Ms. Raquel Schroff to share her insight about the UNISA DCM collaboration. Over to you, Mr. Khil.
Thank you, Hitaya, and good morning, friends of DCM. It's wonderful to be here and share the stage with my colleague Manu in Adelaide from the University of South Australia. Perneet, who couldn't be here live, but sends her best wishes to all students and staff at DCM, and she fondly remembers her time there. And last but not least, thank you, Dr. Gopan, for bringing this all together. So what I'd like to do first is between Manu and me, we'll give you some tips and tricks and also some insights about Adelaide and the University of South Australia. But I'd also like to focus on what students should be doing in school to prepare themselves for life, study, and work when they leave school. And how do you make those very important decisions like your subject stream or what do you study after school, because there's so many choices out there. And from what Dr. Gopan said, it looks like you have so much exposure, but at the same time it's going to be a lot more harder to make decisions because there's just too many choices. And everybody will be wondering, okay, now out of all these options, what is right for me? What should I be doing as a student, right? That's the most important thing. And that is what we are going to be focused on. So I'll just quickly share the screen and I'll just take you through very briefly the process that we will be following to help students in this journey. So you can see my screen now. Yep. Okay. So choosing your career is not a simple process, and we all know it. It's not linear as well. So when I left school 30 years back, maybe we didn't have many choices. So we got put into certain categories purely based on our marks. So if you scored very well in grade 10, you automatically go into sciences with maths. If you dropped maths, it was almost the end of the world because medicine was the only choice and you cut yourself off from many things. And then depending on your marks, you go into commerce and humanities wasn't even existent at that stage. But now I think the CBSE and the National Education Policy is giving more options for students to choose subjects, but you still revolve around the sciences with or without maths, the commerce and humanities largely. Now, what has this got to do with careers? Maybe while we're in school, we're not thinking too hard about, what occupation or jobs will I end up doing 5 years from now when I start working? If I make the wrong choice, is there another option left? Or am I locking myself into something that I will not maybe end up being happy or successful in? Now, there's a lot of research that says that today's young people, so whether you're in grade 9 or 10 or 11 or 12, the research says you will have 17 different jobs in your lifetime. Can you imagine that? Obviously, there will be a logical starting point, but you've got to get used to change. So alongside your academics, you've got to also build the capabilities, the competencies as we call it, because CBSE is also talking about developing competencies. You build the competencies to make decisions by yourself, and we are going to focus on helping you make the right decision. So if the University of South Australia and what university offers is the best fit for you, you will know it, and we're going to help you understand how. So our focus through this collaboration is to help young people understand how much the job market has changed, how to go through this process of planning and decision making, and identify best fit courses at the university that where you will not just do well, but you will be happy too, because you enjoy what you're doing. So that's the focus. So building the competencies of decision making. Now, just to illustrate this point better, I'll just give you one example. Now, 10 years back, a lot of these jobs that you see these are the highest paid jobs for freshers in India. These jobs didn't even exist. Some of these jobs will be familiar to you because they haven't changed maybe in the last 30, 40 years, but there are a lot of jobs which are new and a lot of industries that are new, including in healthcare. With COVID, we've seen how much the pharmaceutical industry has grown or how much wellness has grown. You know, things like mental well-being, counseling, therapy, that has grown. And a lot of these industries are common to the growth industries in Adelaide and South Australia as well. Now, why does this matter? Because at the end of the day, you're going to make a career choice so that when you invest in your education, both in terms of time and money and effort, you're going to get good returns. So you must know what the world of work is, what the job market is, what the industries are, what are the growth industries, and what are employers looking for, because you can't develop all that magically overnight. It's a process that starts in school, and at your school, it's a process that's starting in high school, in grade 9 onwards. Now, again, if you look at what employers are looking for and you look at the education part, while we're in school, we think, oh, you know, we've got to score 90% and above of first class distinction. And only if you go to certain types of universities that, you know, the employers will take you. But if you look at any of the jobs advertised, you will see a lot of importance on skills, on your attitude, on your certifications, your competencies, and there is some weightage given to your course and, you know, where you maybe even where you study. So this is the current realities that parents, teachers, and students must be aware of when you're thinking back in school. Now, what subjects do I choose, right? So understanding the world of work is important. Understanding the importance of the role of technology is important. Now, you will see a lot of these buzzwords like 3D printing, blockchain, virtual reality, Internet of Things, data analytics, and so on. Now, technology is part of a lot of jobs. So whether you're going into medicine or you're going into marketing, you know, or you're doing accounting, everybody uses technology in some way or the other. Everybody learns to solve problems, how to collaborate with teams which are maybe not in front of you, which are virtual. You know, how to communicate with others, maybe who are of different ages, different cultural backgrounds, speak different languages. You know, so this is going to be part of any career. So whatever you do, make sure that you are tech savvy. You keep learning on the go and you keep updating your knowledge. So it doesn't matter which stream, this is something that's going to help you, you know, lifelong, even for teachers. We've seen, I mean, teachers, but I must say, you guys have done amazingly well in the last year when you've suddenly changed from a physical school to a virtual school, isn't it? So well done, teachers, and everyone at DCM for that. Okay, now back to career decision making. So understanding, you know, the current job market, what employers are looking for is definitely a very good thing to do, and you must keep yourself updated. But when you're in school, the starting point is always knowing yourself. That's an important thing. Like Purneet said in the video, stop making decisions based on what someone else is telling you what to do, right? First, you've got to understand what you are interested in, what you're good at. You know, you're born with certain talents and gifts. You've got a different personality, and you've got also your academic results. So your results are part of the you know, overall dimension of who you are, but it's not the only thing that defines you. You are not the person based on just your marks. You are more than that. You're all gifted children. So you need to discover your own potential, right? And that's the first part of career decision making, understanding what you're good at, and what you need to develop, right? Because there are certain things that maybe your aspiration is, and maybe you're not so good at it right now, but if you know that, you can start developing it from now on, right? And that is part of the process of building yourself, developing yourself, managing yourself from school. It's never too early to start. This is the right age because the foundation for your future is based on what you end up doing right now. So it's important to know that's the starting point. And then your subject stream. Well, Manu will talk a little bit more about UniSA's policy and the flexibility you have in choosing subjects, for your undergraduation, which is not really dependent on the stream you are in. But not all of you will end up studying at University of South Australia. Some of you will study in India. Some of you may go to other countries. So you must do some research to find out whatever course you're wanting to do. What subjects do they need? Do they need maths? English is probably important for any country anywhere in the world. And do they need other sciences? So that. But other than that, you need to also go through the whole life cycle to say, after doing this degree, what are the possibilities? Where can I work? What are the jobs that are likely to be available? What can I possibly earn? What are the visa policies of these countries? Are they really open to people who want to set up their business or who want to get some work experience there? Is it going to be possible for me? Now, you've got to research and look at all these things before you decide on which is that course that you want to do after year 12. I feel in India, a lot of focus goes into just getting the admission right. So everybody is preparing for some competitive exam or the other. And as the students who are in science stream, I've heard some of them say we've got to write 17 to 20 different entrance exams to get admission, right? So there's a lot of emphasis on coaching and admission and English language, but there's very little research done about what happens next. Where does that lead to? Is it all worth it? Right? So you've got to understand yourself, the job market, the occupations of the future, how your university and your course is connected to industry, is preparing you for career-ready jobs or entrepreneurship, right? You've got to understand the whole cycle before you make that decision about the subject in school. Now, those of you who are coming to South Australia, you don't have to be so stressed because that's a lot more streamlined and simple. But otherwise, you've got to. So one way of doing it is, of course, you can use technology to help you make these decisions because it's impossible for any parent or counselor or teachers by themselves to know all these things in all these universities and countries, right? So you must use some smart technology to help you in this process. The other thing you can do is through the various activities that your school is anyway providing, you can develop the decision-making ability yourself. Now, to me, this is the best gift that students can get from the school because you're then, if you know how this process works and you're going to have 17 different jobs, you can do it any number of times and you know how to do it by yourself. You don't have to ask somebody else what to do. So building your self-awareness, learning how to evaluate the job market, getting more exposure to different, work ideas, different occupations and jobs, and importantly, knowing how to manage yourself and, engage with other people, your parents, teachers, and everybody to make the right decisions. So finally, students, before I pass it on to Manu, what I'd like to leave you with is this. Career decision making is very, very important, not just when you're in school to decide on subject stream or what to do after 12th. It's a competency we all need to develop throughout our lives. So a lot of your parents will also need this because some of them may have changed jobs or have been affected by COVID. So this is something we've all got to do. And so the tips that I'd like to leave you with is this: invest in learning more about yourself, not just about subjects and general knowledge, but learn more about yourself and learn more about the job market. Very important. If teachers can do this as part of their curriculum, fantastic, even better. And I'm sure there are opportunities to integrate these things in curriculum. um, and set goals for yourself. So you can start off by setting simple goals in school, which you can review every 6 months, and then you can do some short-term goals again about your careers, which you can review on an annual basis if you have time. But learn to set goals and come up with a plan, including how you're going to finance your study options. Are you going to get a scholarship or a loan? Because that plays an important role too. And don't worry about making mistakes and failing, because we all learn from that. And on all these things are what we will be focusing on through this partnership. We will have workshop, experiential programs that you can take part in to understand yourself, the world of work, what UniSA can do for you, and if it is the right fit, you will know through this process. So that I will now stop and pass on the baton to Manu, my colleague from University of South Australia. And students, those of you who are interested in psychology or who are already doing psychology, and counselors, please look at those career theories I've referenced at the bottom. And you can do research on that, because all these are evidence-based theories on how we in educators can work with young people in school to prepare themselves for a future which is changing so fast. So how do we do that? So I've given you some guidelines and suggestions, but these are also based on theories given by famous people like Crumbles and Bright. So you do your own research and you will know that these are all scientific processes, not just things that I'm saying. Now over to you, Manu.
Thank you so
Mr.
much.
Kale. Thank you, Mr. Kale, for sharing your experience on how UNISA helps in understanding the current job market and how to make, decision making for the careers, and how a student should develop their personality skills, right? Thank you so much. I would like to invite Mr. Manu Singhal to share his presentation on UNISA's higher education program. Over to you, Mr. Manu.
Thank you so much, Ataya. I would like to first of all thank Raquel and Dr. Gopan and his team to make today happen. It's really exciting to meet students, although virtually, but it's still exciting, and I look forward to the time when I can actually come and physically meet you in India. So without further ado, I will start. And I just also want to build on what Raquel said, that it's really an exciting opportunity that, back in about 20, 30 years ago, when I was in school as well, we didn't have this opportunity where you could actually have more insight given to you at an early stage, because it is quite critical. You are at that juncture where you are choosing which stream to take. I know back in my day, like Raquel said, it was about marks. You got certain marks, you went into a certain stream. And now you have a lot more flexibility. And also the world has changed in the last 20, 30 years. The number of careers that are available for students is fantastic. And also India has changed quite dramatically, and the world has changed, because those careers which earlier 30 years ago, parents would be a bit hesitant, are now welcome. And, students are going and choosing different career paths. So I will want to touch upon those different career options for you, in addition to obviously the perennial favorites. So let me just share my screen and we can begin. I hope my screen is visible. So So welcome again. Who are we and where are we? So the University of South Australia is a public university. We are situated in the state of South Australia in the capital city of Adelaide. We are the largest university in the state of South Australia. We've got over 35,000 students, and we've got over 6,500 international students from a range of countries. No prizes for guessing where the largest cohort is from. It's, the largest cohort tends to be from India and China. So, if you do come to us, you can be rest assured that you'll have a diversity of students that you'll interact with, but at the same time, you won't feel homesick. We have 4 campuses in the Adelaide metropolitan area where we teach over 200 degrees. So we have a whole range of exciting degree options for students. And I will touch upon a few that I think would be quite exciting for our Indian students, as well as some that will give you food for thought to consider different career paths. The university also supports our international students in a variety of ways. Right from the time you arrive, there's on-arrival pickup, which will take you to your accommodation when you arrive for the first time. There will be, counselors available who can counsel you about a whole range of issues about your study options. If you're having any difficulties adjusting, or any sort of support you need. We have career counselors, so we understand that you're making this investment in your future and you would like a good return. We have our career counselors who would support you in a number of ways. So when you join the university, you get access to something called a Careers Hub account. And on that Careers Hub account, your students are constantly invited to events, whether they are workshops in resume writing, on interview skills. We also have a number of events such as careers fairs, and we have guest lectures by industry leaders. So there's a whole range of events that you are invited so that you can build your capacity, and you can, we can help you nurture your skills so that you are successful and you can apply the skills that you acquire at the University of South Australia in the real world. We also want to make sure that our graduates are ready for the job market. So a number of our degrees will have a practical component built into it. The practical component might be an internship, it might be a project. We want you to think out of the box and apply those skills, so that you are prepared for the job market. It's no surprise then that the University of South Australia was ranked #1 in South Australia for graduate careers. This ranking was done by QILT, which is an independent organization, and it just goes to show that we prepare our students for the job market, and they are successful in securing wonderful jobs after they finish their degrees with us. Now, in terms of rankings, the university is ranked as one of the top universities in the world. This is by both QS and Times Higher Education. We are ranked as one of the top 50 young universities of the world. It's called top 50 under 50 by both the rankings. As I mentioned earlier, we're situated in Adelaide. Adelaide, for those that are not aware, is situated 2 hours by air from Sydney and 1 hour by air from Melbourne. I always like to say, if you think of a Delhi as a Sydney, we are like a Chandigarh. So we pride ourselves on a higher quality of life and a lower cost of living. So you know where you want to be. The Economist ranked Adelaide as one of the top 10 cities to live in. So just, again, don't take my word for it, take The Economist. It's really got a really high quality of life, and you save about 14% on living costs if you choose Adelaide as your study destination. There's also benefits that students get. So for example, when you're an international student here, you'll get an international student card, and using that card, you'll get 50% off on public transport. So, there's a lot of support mechanisms in place to help international students maximize the opportunities and their options here. Now, we also support our students through scholarships. So I know that scholarships are quite important. So what are the scholarships we offer? So for international students, we have 2 key scholarships. The first is the Vice Chancellor's International Excellence Scholarship, and that is a 50% reduction in tuition fees for up to 4 years of full-time study. And this is awarded to a select group of very high achieving students. So typically from India, we see students that have at least 95% in their class 12 results, best 4, who would be awarded this scholarship. And this is awarded for the entire duration of the degree, as long as students maintain their academic performance. We also have another scholarship, which is the International Merit Scholarship, and that is a 15% reduction of tuition fees for, again, the entire duration of the student's program. And for this, students need to achieve at least 70% in their class 12 results from their best 4 subjects. So we've got these scholarships that we offer to our international students, and so do study hard, because your performance is rewarded. Now, as I mentioned earlier, we've got 4 campuses. I just will quickly show you a few of our campuses and the facilities on offer. So Mawson Lakes is about 17 minutes north of the CBD by train. That's where we have IT, engineering, science and aviation. This is a view of our civil engineering facilities. We have the largest strong floor in Australia for our civil engineering students. City West is in the CBD. This is for our business school and for architecture and design. We also have a state-of-the-art cancer research institute, which opened about 2 years ago. We also have a new Pridham Hall. This is a multi-purpose sports hall, which can also be transformed into an auditorium, and it's got a heated swimming pool in the basement. So for all of, as you know, Australians are sports mad. So if you are quite sporting, you will have tons of opportunities at the University of South Australia. We also have a number of clubs and associations. So there's a whole range of clubs that students can join and do extracurriculars. And of course, if you can't find a club, guess what? You can actually create your own club. So you have lots of options. City East is again in the CBD. As the name suggests, it's more towards the east of the CBD, and that is our health science campus. So our health science programs such as nursing, pharmacy, exercise, physiotherapy, all of them are taught at City East. Lastly, we've got our McGill campus. This is about 20 minutes east of the CBD by bus, and this is for social work, arts, teaching, and our creative courses. This is a view of our Samsung Smart School. As the name suggests, it uses a lot of Samsung technology, which is used for teacher training. So this, I hope, gives you a bit of an idea of some of the facilities that we have at our various campuses. Now I'm going to be talking to you about different courses that we offer and what the entry requirements for those courses are and how they relate to real-world jobs. So let's start with engineering and information technology. Now, we've got the Bachelor of Engineering degree. It's a 4-year degree. It's Bachelor of Engineering Honours, and you can do it in civil, electrical, or mechanical. The degree has got accreditation by Engineers Australia. So, of course, engineering is a very popular degree internationally and also among our Indian students. There is a plethora of jobs available in civil, electrical, mechanical. Now, keep in mind something which is happening around the world in manufacturing is Industry 4.0. So that means factories are becoming smarter. There is increased automation, there's increased machine learning. So in our mechanical stream, for example, you have the option to choose mechanical and mechatronics, which is a marriage of mechanical with robotics. So that again is a very, very relevant degree at the moment, and that'll set you up for working in this new stream of automated factories. As I mentioned earlier, our degrees have a certain practical component built into it. So the Bachelor of Engineering degree, for example, has a 12-week industry experience built into it. So by the time you finish your degree, you already have Australian work experience on your resume, which looks really good to future employers. So how do you get into the Bachelor of Engineering Honours? So we would look at your CBSE results. We will take the average of your best 4 subjects, excluding Indian languages. So we would count any of the best 4 subjects you have, but we wouldn't take, for example, if you do Hindi, Sanskrit, Punjabi, we wouldn't take an Indian language. Excluding that, we'll take your best 4 subjects, and you need 65% to get into this degree. Maths is the only prerequisite which we require for engineering in class 12. English, you would need to do a test. We accept a range of tests which include, for example, the IELTS, the PTE, as well as the TOEFL test. So the most common and popular test in India tends to be the IELTS. I know PTE is catching on. So with IELTS, you need to get a 6 overall, 6 in reading and 6 in writing. And that would be for all of our IT and engineering degrees, the English requirement. The other flexibility, which you might not see in India, but you have in Australia, is intakes. So I know a lot of Indian institutions and universities offer the 1 intake. So students would typically start their degree in India in July, August. But in Australia, you have a number of intakes. So with us at the University of South Australia, most of our degrees are offered twice a year. So you can start your degree either in Feb or you can start your degree in July, August. So you have that flexibility as well, to choose one of those two intakes if they're available.
So the earliest intake then, Manu, for the current year 12 students would be February, isn't it?
So right now, I know, for example, the current students, their CBSE exams are delayed, unfortunately. But this year, specifically, there's more options because of the pandemic. The borders are closed, so program will commence online. So normally it would be July, but because of the pandemic, we have a September intake where students, so even if students have their exams delayed, potentially if they get their results by even mid-August, they could start in September. So it's really wonderful because then they don't have to waste that time. They can actually get started on their education journey. But normally it will be July, August.
Right. So they start online in September and then transfer to on campus in February if all goes well.
Exactly. We would want them as soon as possible on campus, but we do understand that, we're giving students the option that, while the pandemic is there, start your degree online and then transfer as soon as possible to on campus. So yes, so for the current cohort that is waiting to do their year 12 CBSE exams, September would be your go-to option. The other option, of course, is IT. I mean, IT is, booming all over the world, including Adelaide. So we've got Bachelor of Information Technology. Again, you need a 65% in your best 4. English is the same, which I said, 6 overall, 6 reading, 6 writing. And there's, again, you can super specialize. You can specialize in mobile app development. Who would have thought of mobile apps about 10 years ago? We had those biscuit-sized Nokia phones then. So now you've got mobile app development as an area of specialization. You've got cybersecurity, which is a booming area as well. And of course, we've got software engineering, which is a 4-year degree, which is popular for students looking for a traditional software engineering degree. Another area that I really want to highlight, which is massively in demand, is data science. If you like maths and if you like IT, have I got a degree for you? So the Bachelor of Mathematics Data Science is a perfect option for students that are interested in mathematics and IT. Now, companies like Google, Facebook, Amazon, they're all looking for someone called a data scientist. What does a data scientist do? Now, when you use Facebook or you use Google, you have these predictions that come up on your screen that you may know this person or you may like this person. This doesn't happen by magic. It is actually data scientists that are mining your data in the background and using algorithms to create this predictive logic. And so if you're interested in that, then you should look and seriously consider the Bachelor of Mathematics Data Science. Again, entry into that is a 65% in your best for class 12. We do need maths in class 12 for the Bachelor of Mathematics Data Science. The good news is for the Bachelor of IT and the Bachelor of Software Engineering, you don't need to have maths in class 12. The degree is designed in such a way that it'll not be a problem. And again, these degrees are open. Even if you've done arts and commerce in class 12, you're welcome to apply for these degrees as well. So as Raquel mentioned earlier, unlike in the past, you're not locked in. Even if you've chosen a particular stream, you have the flexibility to choose different degrees. Now, just tying it again into real-world applications in South Australia. So South Australia is known as Australia's defence hub. We have a number of manufacturing programs for, shipbuilding, as well as a submarine program with a French company. In addition, I'm proud to say that the Australian Space Agency is headquartered in Adelaide, and I can't wait because in May the Space Discovery Centre opens in Adelaide, and that's very exciting. So again, this would mean if you are coming to South Australia, do consider IT and engineering because it ties in really well with the fact that we have defence and space headquartered in our state. So that's something really to consider.
Going on a NASA tour is quite a popular thing for students in school. I think we could do possibly some tours showcasing such industries in Adelaide, isn't it, in the near future?
Absolutely, absolutely. It would be great, with the Space Discovery Centre, I think it would be a fantastic option. I know it's going to be very popular among school kids because, it's a great showcase. All right. Now, let's go to commerce and economics. I know there's students out there who love their commerce and accounting and economics, so we have a number of options for them. I'm also proud to report that South Australia, the University of South Australia, our business school is the only one in South Australia which is got dual accreditation. So what they like to call it in the vernacular, it's called a dual crown. So we are accredited by EQUIS, which is a European quality benchmark, and by AACSB, which is an American quality benchmark. So we are the only business school to have that dual accreditation. Now let's look at what options we have for you. I know when I meet students in India, they just say, oh, I want to do a BBA. Then I have to stop and tell them that, wait, hang on. BBA is something which you might be doing regularly in India, but stop and think, because we have about 14 different options in business. So you've got the Bachelor of Business if you're undecided, but for some students who are decided, you can do Bachelor of Business specializing in tourism. You can do it specializing in property. You can do it specializing in economics or finance or accounting. So the range is very broad, and you can combine it with law as well. So again, think out of the box when you are making this decision to study abroad. There are so many more options available for you. So really, I would encourage you to take this information on board, digest, discuss with your family and loved ones, but think out of the box, because there are so many different options available. There's entrepreneurship specialization available. There's innovation specialization available, sports management, so the range is so broad. I've selected 3 here. Sorry, go ahead, Ram.
No, I just wanted to add that, again, one of the things of making a career decision in today's COVID world where everything is changing is choose universities like this, which gives you the flexibility to do a major and a minor or an elective. So like Manu said, though they're all business courses, you can combine different things based on the job market and also your own interest. Look at the sports industry in India. In the past, when you told your parents you're going to get into the sports industry, maybe they would have told you, don't confuse hobbies with careers. They are two different things. You can't make a career in the sports industry, but look at it now. It also employs data scientists, by the way, which I found out just last week, because they need a lot of help in analyzing the performance data of all the teams. It's used for player selection, including in the IPL, which everybody in India is now hooked on. Because to get into today's workforce, you need both broad foundational knowledge as well as specialist knowledge. So if you can do all that in a university like this, that's wonderful, because you're then on the go, making yourself job ready. I just wanted to add that, Manu.
No, thanks so much, Uncle. I mean, to keep it simple with the admissions requirements, all of our bachelors of business degrees, all you need to do is get yourself a 65% in your best 4 subjects and you're in. English would again be a 6 overall in IELTS, 6 in reading and 6 in writing. Now, the other thing which is exciting for students, and I think especially for parents to consider as well, quite a few of our bachelor's business degrees are packaged with a master's. So you have that option. So normally, if you think about it, whether you're in India, whether you're in Australia, and you were thinking of studying both your bachelor's and your master's overseas, you would be looking at 3 years bachelor's and 2 years master's. However, we have the option to offer you a 3+1 package. So that package would mean that at the end of those 4 years, you would graduate with both a bachelor's degree and a master's degree. So that represents not only a time saving, but also a cost saving, because you save 1 year of tuition fees and 1 year of living costs. So it's really an exciting option for those students who are already quite keen to, study up to the master's level in business. So I would strongly encourage you to look at that as well.
Oh, that sounds amazing. I mean, look, imagine that if you go to like the US, maybe your bachelor degree itself is 4 years. But you're saying, Manu, in University of South Australia, you can do an integrated or a sandwich program in the same 4 years and graduate with bachelor's and master's. That sounds awesome.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's such an exciting option. And so do look at that as well. The other thing, which I again like to bring your attention back to, is we like to get our students prepared for the job market. How do we do it in business? So all of our, and I repeat, all of our Bachelor's of Business degrees have an internship built into it. And we have a dedicated internships manager at the business school, and he will help you find that internship. So let's say you're doing a Bachelor of Business in Sports Management, we will try to find you an internship in sports management. If you're doing a Bachelor of Business in Accounting, we will try to find you an internship in accounting. So we want you to be ready for the job market by the time you graduate, so that when you are competing with other students, and mind you, you will be competing with other students, you have that leg up and a head start. So we do have that internship built into our business programs. Again, the other thing which I'm omitted to mention is many of our degrees have got accreditation. So the IT degrees were accredited by the Australian Computer Society. The engineering degree was accredited by the Engineers Australia. Our business accounting degree is accredited by CPA Australia, and our business finance degree is accredited by the Chartered Financial Analyst Institute. Now, you may ask, what is the benefit of accreditation? So by accreditation, certain degrees have to be accredited so that you can then apply for a career in a particular, for example, nursing, and we'll touch upon it. You need the degree to be accredited so that you can actually register and practice to become a nurse. But other programs like in business offer you certain advantages. So let's look at accounting. So by doing an accredited accounting degree, let's say after you finish the Bachelor of Accounting, you want to become a CPA and you want to join the CPA program. By doing this accounting degree, you save yourself time because you will have met the educational requirements of the CPA program. So that is the advantage an accredited degree gives you. Of course, not all degrees will be accredited because it's not possible to accredit all degrees, but those that are accredited offer you always a certain advantage. Now, looking at architecture, design, and creative industries. So, Bachelor of Architectural Studies, it's for those students that are looking for a journey on becoming an architect. Now, keep in mind, as opposed to India, architectural studies in Australia at our university is 3 years. In India, architecture is 5 years. However, with us, we have an option where you do a bachelor's for 3 years, and then you can do a master's for 2 years. And after those 5 years, then you can practice as an architect. However, if you finish the Bachelor of Architectural Studies after 3 years, you can then go into the workforce in other areas related to architecture. So you have that gap. You don't have to necessarily study for the entire 5 years. But if you want to become a registered architect, then you do the 5 years. But if you want to do other things in architecture, then you stop after the 3 years. Entry into the Bachelor of Architectural Studies, again, is a 65% in your class 12. English is the same, 6 overall, 6 reading and 6 writing. And again, any profile is welcome, whether you've done computer science or biology or arts or commerce. In class 12, you're all welcome to apply for the architecture program. There's no other prerequisite. Design, increasingly, I'm noticing a lot of Indian students are interested in design. So design is, again, a very, very popular stream. We offer 3 sub-streams in it, which is communication design, product design, and illustration and animation, which, again, have a number of careers open to them. The design degree you need best for 60%, and again, any student from any stream is welcome. There are no prerequisites.
Do you need a portfolio, Manu, for design?
Not at the bachelor's level.
Okay.
So they're welcome to just apply. So the admission will be granted to them purely on the basis of their class 12 result and their English results. 2 other very exciting degree, and I think keep this in mind, especially given that you know, the television boom in India and the world. I mean, who doesn't know of Netflix? There is so much content being made locally. Think of a career in film and television. So we have an excellent degree in film and television. We've got one of the largest green screen rooms where, you know, we've got great facilities where you would be trained on. Now, the Bachelor of Film and Television, you're looking again at 60% in your best 4. Again, any profile is welcome, no prerequisites, and English results the same. We have a collaboration with Rising Sun Pictures, which is an Adelaide-based company, and students actually can do an internship as part of their Bachelor in Film and Television at Rising Sun. Adelaide is becoming and carving a name for itself as a special effects hub for Hollywood. So we have a number of companies based here that do back-end special effects work for Hollywood. So again, quite an exciting option for you if you are coming to Adelaide.
I remember bumping into Priyanka Chopra in 2008, Manu.
Oh, really?
When they were filming Love Story 2050 or something of that sort. I think that was the name of the movie. It was a sci-fi. And Priyanka Chopra was in Adelaide.
Well, that's definitely an incentive to
Found
start.
her at Rundle Mall.
That's amazing. That is wonderful. Yeah, I mean, look, like I said, think out of the box, people, because you have these options, you know. And the other one I want to really emphasize to you is Bachelor of Creative Industries. Now, this is really exciting because it's got 12 industry majors and it covers the whole range of creative industries, whether you're going into animation, whether you're going into social media. Make that interest in Instagram and Facebook actually pay for you. You know, think beyond just using it for personal purposes. You can become a PR advisor or a social media manager. I mean, these are all industries of the future. So this degree will set you up for that. It's focused on that. So you choose an industry major, and you'll obviously have an internship linked to that. And you can choose a second major or 2 sub-minors. So again, a very, very exciting option. Entry into that is again a 60% in your best 4. Any profile again is welcome to do the Bachelor of Creative Industries. So this is what I just wanted to highlight, what I just mentioned, that we are becoming a bit of a hub for special effects in South Australia, in Adelaide. And as I mentioned, we already have that existing partnership with Rising Sun Pictures where students can do an internship. I've been to their facilities, it's amazing. So yeah, those creative industry degrees are really valuable because they can get you fantastic jobs, especially if you're coming to Adelaide. So do consider a degree in film and television, creative industries or animation. Now, let's look at health sciences. So health sciences, I mean, we don't need to look beyond 2020. If anything, the pandemic has shown us we value our nurses and our doctors more than ever. Health sciences is a fantastic area and the demand is bottomless for health professionals. Bachelor of Nursing, as Parneet has seen, she's having a wonderful time doing a degree here. And by the time she finishes the degree, she will already be snapped up by, a government institution as a nurse. We have clinical activities from year 1. Entry is straightforward. You need 63% in your best 4 in class 12. Again, any profile is welcome. It's not necessary for you to be in the bio stream. Even if you've done commerce or even if you've done arts, you're more than welcome to apply for the Bachelor of Nursing. English for nursing is higher. In general, health science programs require a higher degree of English. Bachelor of Nursing is 7 all bands in your IELTS program. We also have a simulated hospital. Now, what's that? So we actually have a floor where we have something called the Horizon Hospital, where we have mechatronic dummies that students are trained on. There's even a maternity dummy which actually gives birth. So it's amazing, the kind of technology at play and the facilities you will benefit from when you are being trained. And of course, after you graduate, your degree is accredited by the Nursing Board of Australia and you can register as a nurse. Excuse me. So something to point out, most of our, if not all of our health science degrees are only offered once a year. So the next intake for any of the health science degrees would be February 2022. So keep that in mind, okay, when you're doing your planning. Another exciting degree that we're offering for the first time from 2022 is Bachelor of Biomedical Science. Now, what is biomedical science? If you are looking for a degree which will set you up for a career in biotech, I mean, look at all these people who've made the vaccines. They didn't come from thin air. These are biotechnologists and researchers that have helped us make these amazing vaccines against COVID. So if you're looking for a career in biomedical research, in biotechnology, in toxicology, this is the degree for you, Bachelor of Biomedical Science. Entry again is completed year 12 CBSE. You need a 70% in your best 4. English would be 6.5 overall and no band less than 6. Now, another degree which is becoming popular, and I noticed this again from my talk with Indian students, is nutrition and food sciences. That's really coming up in India. So when I go to meet students, they always ask me about nutrition and food sciences. So by doing this degree, you will be set up for a career in food technology or as a nutritionist or as a dietitian. So, this is again a degree which is becoming increasingly popular and, which has a number of exciting career options for you. So it's Bachelor of Nutrition and Food Sciences. Again, I think entry for this is you need a 70% in your best 4. No prerequisite, any profile is welcome. English would be 6.5 all bands. As Raquel mentioned earlier about the IPL and about data science being used in sports management, we have a dedicated degree with sports related to exercise and sports science. So if you're dreaming of a career with the IPL as a coach or a performance analyst, this is the degree for you, exercise and sports science. It's really designed to become that performance analyst or a movement specialist. The degree entry would be again, I think you need 70% again in your best for entry into this. And again, any profile is welcome. English would again be 6.5 all bands. Again, all of these degrees are accredited. So the Bachelor of Exercise and Sports Science is accredited by the Sports Institute. The nutrition degree is accredited by the Food Technology Institute. The Bachelor of Biomedical Science is a new degree, so it's not yet got any accreditation linked to it. Now, one of the exciting things in Adelaide that's happening is we have a new hub being developed called the Adelaide Biomed City. I'm not sure if you're aware, back in the day, I think a couple of years ago, Adelaide inaugurated the world's most expensive hospital, the Royal Adelaide. So it's a state-of-the-art facility where, pharmacy medicines are delivered by robots. And one of the best things, this is a public hospital. So, compare it to, for example, the AIMS hospital in New Delhi. That's a public hospital. I'm not talking about a private one. This is a government hospital. And everyone who goes into this hospital will get a private room. How about that? It's been designed in that way. Now, right next to this hospital is SAMRI, which is the South Australian Health and Medical Research Institute. This is 600 scientists working together on some amazing research to deal with health problems. And guess what? That's not been enough. They're now building right next to it SAMRI Part 2. So if you're doing biomedical research or biomedical science, you're looking potentially at working at that kind of an institution, doing biomedical research. We also have our Cancer Research Institute right next to it. So this entire part of Adelaide is becoming this biomed city. So again, exciting option for you to choose a degree in medical research, biomedical research, or nutrition, for example. It'll really pay off because you have that hub being developed in Adelaide. Last but not least, let's look at psychology and social work, which again tend to be quite popular degrees among our students from India. Now, psychology, there's two options. You can do Bachelor of Psychology or you can do Bachelor of Psychology Honours. The Bachelor of Psychology is a 3-year degree, while the Psychology Honours is a 4-year degree. Entry for them is slightly different. The Psychology degree, the 3-year degree, you need only a 60% in your best 4, but Psychology Honours, you need 88% because it's an honours degree. So you need 88% in your best 4. Again, any profile is welcome to apply. English is again 6 overall, 6 reading and 6 writing. Keep in mind, after doing these degrees, you are looking at careers as counselors, you're looking at careers as, community development officers, you're also looking for careers in the NGO sector. So there's a whole range of careers option. Of course, if you want to become a clinical psychologist, you need to do further study. So after this, you would then be looking at doing a master's degree in order to be eligible for a career in clinical psychology.
I just wanted to add to that some of the new careers that, or new industries where psychologists are finding work. So including IT. So I have friends who've done psychology and who are now part of IT teams, looking at human-computer interaction and stuff. I have friends who've done psychology who are working in marketing department, analyzing buyer behavior and things like that. So, even for an art student or humanities student who's going down this path, yes, there are the traditional roles that we all knew, but then there are also these new age careers that in growth industries like IT, where you can find a place. And they value, this whole cognitive neuroscience ability that you bring with as a psychologist. So as Manu said, if there is no role, you can create your own role, not just a club, but that's the way career development works these days. You can create your own career path and find your fit. I just wanted to add that, Manu.
No, thanks so much. And then just adding on to that, it's so true. I mean, look, both Raquel and I can be a testament to that. Your degree is one thing, it's setting you up for a foundation, but that's not the end of it. It's how you leverage your degree. It's how you pitch your sales pitch to the employer, because you can have a degree in business and you can have a career in a completely different area. It's about you trying to show that, okay, this is the skill set that I have and how this is going to be of value to your company. If you can convince them of that, then all doors are open to you. I mean, again, one of my friends, she's an HR consultant in Perth, and psychology is fantastic because in HR, organizational development, increasingly they see how people relate to each other. And so psychology is very important for that because, I mean, I remember when I did my MBA back in, I don't know, the Stone era, you had this course where they explained you might take away one person from a department and 10 others might leave because the person had such an influence informally. So now again, that's psychology. So it's so important for HR professionals and for managers even to understand employee psychology.
Absolutely.
Last but not least, social work. Now, if you're someone who is, really interested in, an area of community development or the NGO sector or human services, that's what's called in Australia, human services, then social work is a very rewarding and challenging degree for you to do. It's a 4-year degree. It includes 1,000 hours of field placements built into the degree. So you will be ready for the job market again by the time you finish the Bachelor of Social Work. English would be 7 all bands in IELTS, 60% required in your best 4 in class 12. Again, any profile is welcome, not just humanities. Even if you're a commerce student or a science student who is interested in social work, this pathway is also open for you, the Bachelor of Social Work program. And again, it's got accreditation by the Australian Association of Social Workers. So again, quite an exciting degree. It's a very different option again, but quite rewarding. That's it for me. I just wanted to give you a taste of, I mean, we've got 200 degrees and, I just wanted to give you a taste of what we have on offer. All of our degrees are on our website. Please do take the time to go and browse all of our entry requirements on our website as well. Also, what I would strongly recommend to you is take the time to connect with one of our international students. You have that opportunity. All you need to do is Google UniBuddy and UniSA, and there's also a link over there on this page. And you can actually connect with an international student like Parneet, who is studying at the university, and you can ask them. I mean, there is no substitute for talking to another student, because you will get that first-hand knowledge about what it means to be an international student, and even questions that you might be too shy to ask in this forum, you can ask. You can ask the international student. So feel free, please, to connect with our international students. So yeah, thank you so much for your time and for your attention. I'm happy to take any questions.
Thank you, Manu. So I think the key takeaways that we want students, I guess, to remember after this session is one, that UniSA offers a number of career-ready programs for students doing pure science, science with maths, commerce, with or without maths, and humanities. So there's definitely a program there for you. All programs have strong industry connect. And the only thing you've got to work hard for is obviously to get the required marks that Manu was mentioning, depending on the course, best of 4, excluding languages. And of course, improve your language proficiency, which is normally through a standardized tests like IELTS, and 6.5 or 7, depending on what you are applying for. There is no other entrance exams that you've got to do. It's a very straightforward process. And depending on when your results come out, this year you have an option of a September start online, but usually it's July and February. And if this was a class, maybe we would have given you some homework, students who are listening, which is go to that website that Manu just shared and pick at least 4 different courses, depending on your stream, that you think is right for you, and mention why. Also, second part of the homework, you've got to link it to the industry, the growth industry. So Manu gave a lot of tips on, why what Adelaide is known for, what is the government investing in, because they are all clues as to what jobs are likely to be available. As a student, you can work part-time for a number of hours and full-time. So Parneet, when I spoke to her, she said she's going to graduate and then go on to a post-study visa where she will find work. And her personal career goal is to do medicine after that. So but she will do that after finding work. And Adelaide gives you that option to transition from a student to a work visa, under the current policies. And also there are options if you want to set up a business, because the government wants to attract entrepreneurs. So if you or your family are into business and you want to set up something there, then Adelaide also provides exciting options for you and your family. So these are things you've got to remember, but you've got to do your own research and always start with the discovering yourself. Who are you? What are you good at? What do you love? Second step, look at the world around you, what's available. Third step, you evaluate what your options are and find your fit. So those are the steps involved in career decision making, and we will have more such programs for you, maybe in smaller groups, so that we can help each one of you make the right choice. Back to
Thanks
you,
so much.
Aya.
I just
Thanks,
wanted to
Manu.
add one more pitch for Adelaide. So as I mentioned earlier, right at the start, the higher quality of life, the lower cost of living. And Raquel, as you mentioned about the fact that students can apply for that post-study work visa after finishing their studies. Normally, you get that post-study work visa for 2 years. But because we're a regional area, you get an extra year in Adelaide. So you get the 2 years, and after those 2 years, you can apply for an extension of 1 more year. So that's another advantage if you choose South Australia.
Oh, fantastic. And the good thing about Australia as a whole is we've got a lot of good data available online about students, graduate outcomes, students' experiences. The government actually tracks and measures this and publicly makes it available. So we want all the students in DCM, we will share that with you so that when you choose South Australia and come to study there, you will be making a very informed decision, and you can do your own research and decide that, not just based on what we tell you.
Right.
Thank you, Mr. Manu.
Yeah, Hidayat, just before we move on, Raquel, maybe you can just mention about what we were discussing the other day, the process that University of South Australia is going to follow now with this model exams, and how they will be making that provisional admission process that you were discussing the other day. If you can mention that in a line or two, that would be.
Manu, maybe can you just go through the admission process of conditional offers if students choose to apply now?
Sure. So the process of admission is very straightforward. We try to make it as less, onerous for students as possible. Now, we have a number of authorized representatives. Students apply through them. They have, you need to provide a copy of your passport. You need to provide a copy of your English test if you've done. You can always provide your English test later. It's not a problem. Whatever you provide, on the basis of that, our admissions team will assess and issue something called a conditional offer. A conditional offer basically means that there are certain things pending. So typically, for most class 12 students, it'll be your class 12 results, because obviously those are only provided once CBSE comes out with them. Now, what's interesting to know, day before yesterday, I met a class 12 student. She was quite stressed because, obviously the CBSE exams have been postponed. So I sort of reassured her, because she was saying, what happens, if CBSE decides to cancel the exams? So I did give her the example of what happened with the UK A-levels. So last year, the UK A-levels did not have their final exam. So what the UK board did was they, based on the internal assessment, school assessment, and their previous exams, they awarded each UK A-level student with a composite grade. And using that composite grade, the student could apply for admission. And that's what we accepted. So, let's see what happens with CBSE, and we'll be obviously keeping track of that. And we'll obviously be touching base with partners like you to find out what CBSE has decided for the current class 12 cohort. But essentially, whatever happens, and we will look at that for admission purposes. So until then, it'll be a conditional offer. And once then we get the final grade, you will get a full offer letter once you provided that final mark sheet and you provided that English test results. Now, the other thing to note is we, understand that, especially last year, that CBSE provides online mark sheets. So, and we don't want students to waste time waiting for the hard copy, which may or may not take a few weeks. So as long as the student provides the online mark sheet and gives us their admit card, our admissions team will log onto the CBSE website and verify that result. And that'll save the student the headache of getting the physical copy, because we'll just verify the results and the student will get a full offer earlier. So we offer that benefit as well to students. Wonderful. And, Raquel, if you want to talk more about the nitty gritty about how, if students are interested after the session, how they want to go about it, I'll leave that to you.
Yes. Okay. So for students who are currently in grade 12, who are interested in South Australia, so we will be doing, a group counseling as well as individual counseling sessions, just to make sure that they're making the right career decision and also helping them with the admission process. Verifying the marks, making sure they have the right English language in place, their passports are all good, it's valid. There's lots of little checks and balances that you've got to think about upfront, helping them with financial planning. Manu mentioned the cutoff scores needed for admission, but if a student getting above 95%, there's good chances that you might get a scholarship. So we'll put you through the scholarship process, as well as help you write a statement of purpose, which is what you've got to present also for your visa. And again, the statement of purpose is not rocket science. It's basically explaining to someone who you are, what your career plans are, and why you've chosen this particular course. So every student coming out of DCM should be able to very clearly articulate their career goals through this statement of purpose, which can also be part of an interview. Australia doesn't have an interview like the US for everyone, but some people may be asked to come for an interview either telephonically or in person. And again, these are the kind of things that visa officers want to know. So, and that's why I keep focusing on know yourself and the job market really well before you decide what you want to do. It's not just about seeing, I'm doing this course, this is my mark, so what can I do? You tell me what I should do. I'm sure counselors, you've been asked this question a million times. So what I propose, Dr. Gopal, is first we'll have a session with all the counselors. Teachers, welcome. To walk you through the details of this process and what little checks and balances we need, and then we'll have a system in place where any student who expresses an interest to coming to South Australia can then go through that, and everything will be clearly and transparently documented, so everyone knows what's going on, where they are at, and what the next step is. So we'll set that up with sort of part of maybe the task force. We'll set up an admission task force, which is just for the current year 12 students, because I think there's enough stress and uncertainty, but we'll help, at least give them some guidance on, for those coming to South Australia, what we can do to help them.
Yeah, that's great. We're going to work on that. I mean, so what time frame you think that we could arrange this sort of session? The month of May or June?
We can do it in May because the CBSE will decide in June, right? So let's do something before that.
Yeah.
We can do it in May, I think.
We can try to do that in the month of May.
Yeah.
Because the intake would start, as Manu said, it will be in September.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll plan that. We'll be in touch with you, Raquel, and we'll plan that.
All right. Yeah, sounds good. That sounds like a good action plan.
Yeah.
And very nice to meet everybody in other branches. But we will have a centralized task force, and we'll make it super efficient and streamlined.
Right. All right. Hidayah, just carry on with the proceedings.
Sure, sure, sir. Thank you, Mr. Akhil and Mr. Manu, for exploring us with your amazing university campus and telling deep insight about your courses and scholarship which you're offering for the students. Gratitude makes sense of your past, brings peace for today, and creates a vision for tomorrow. I welcome Ms. Kiran Sharma to deliver a vote of thanks. Over to you, Ms. Kiran.
Thank you so much, Shitaya. I would really appreciate and thank Vijay and Mr. Manu for their insightful and their guidance.
You have two devices on. Please use only one.
All right. I'm so sorry. Really like to take this moment to thank Ms. Raquel and Mr. Manu for their insightful words, for their valuable guidance that they have given to all the vice principals, the career guidance counselors over here, and all the students who have joined us live on this YouTube seminar. I would also like to take this opportunity to thank our Deputy CEO, Dr. Gopan, for organizing this wonderful session of learning. Let this small spark and small seed of learning that we're taking from here take us to something brighter and better for the future of our children. Thank you so much for all of you for joining for this beautiful session and for the learning that you have given and that we have had over in this past 1.5 hours. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you, ma'am. The strength of the team is each individual member. The strength of each member is the team. I'd like to take time to thank every one of our friends, attendees, and parents who've made this virtual OEP program Day 2 a successful one. We look forward to many more events and initiatives. Until then, stay healthy and connected. I, Hitayat Anisha, signing off. Thank you.